Good afternoon, everyone. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be bringing you the results for New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 19, also the joint show Wrestle Dream, along with the full review for WWE SmackDown. No Collision this week. It honestly slipped my mind. I do apologize for that. But we are going to get started with Wrestle Kingdom 19. We got Hiroki Goto winning the New Japan Rambo, becoming the number one contender for the world title. If you don't know what the Rambo is, it is a pin submission over the top rope battle royal. Used to be for the, what the heck title was it? I don't know, it was some weird title back in the day. They have now retired that title. Now this is a number one contenders match. The Ichiban Sweet Boys, yes, that is the name of the tag team. That's Robbie Eagles and Kozai Fujita. I do hope I am saying that correctly. Defeat the Intergalactic Jet Setters. That's Kevin Knight and Kushida. Catch-22, TJP and Francisco Akira. And the Bullet Club War Dogs. That's Clark Connors and Drillin Maloney. In a four-way ladder match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Sorry for that mouthful. I did not mean to do that. Miyu Ayatami, I do not know how to pronounce this. I do apologize. Ayawadi defeats AZM for the IWGP Women's title. El Fantasmo defeats Red Narita, Jeff Cobb, and Roy Owada. I do hope I'm pronouncing that right, in a four-way for the New Japan World Television title. Hiroshi Tanahashi defeats Evil in his first of his retirement tour in a lumberjack match. Konosuke Takeshita successfully defends his AEW International title, plus adds the Never Openweight title by defeating Shingo Takagi. El Desperado defeats Doki for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Yota Tutsi defeats David Finlay for the IWGP Global Heavyweight title. Tetsuya Naito defeats Hiromu Takahashi one-on-one. And finally, Zack Sabre Jr. defeats Shota Umino to successfully retain his IWGP World Heavyweight title. I always enjoy Wrestle Kingdom. I'm a little sad I missed it this year, but sounds like a fun show. Next up, we get into Wrestle Dynasty, which is a joint show between New Japan Pro Wrestling, Stardom, CMLL, Ring of Honor, and AEW. We start up with the finals in the International Women's Cup as Momo Watanabe defeats Willow Nightingale, Persephone, and Athena, where she gets an automatic challenge for the title of her choosing. The Sons of Texas, that's Dustin Rhodes, formerly Goldust, and Sammy Guevara successfully defend their Ring of Honor tag team titles against House of Torture, that's Sho and Yoshinobu Kadamaru. I hope I am pronouncing that right. Next up, we got Taiji Ishimori defeating Hechizero, Kosuke Fujita, Zobinero Jr., Master Wato, Masca Dorado, Titan, and El Desperado in an 8-man lucha gauntlet match, which sounds fun as heck. Hiroshi Tanahashi and Katsuyori Shibata ends in a time limit draw, which definitely interesting. Mercedes Moné successfully defends her strong women's title, but also adds the undisputed British women's title by defeating Mina Shirakawa. David Finlay successfully beats Brody King. Shota Umino defeats Claudio Castagnoli. I would have thought they'd be on the same page. Konosuke Takeshita successfully defends both his never openweight title and his AEW International title over Tomohiro Ishii. The Young Bucks, making their big comeback to wrestling, successfully defeat the United Empire, that's Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb, and Los Ignacio LIJ. I'm going to call it LIJ because there's no way I'm pronouncing that right. Being represented by Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi for the vacant IWGP Tag Team titles. Yota Tsuji successfully defends his IWGP Global Heavyweight title against Jack Perry. Kenny Omega, in his first match back from diverticulitis, defeats a very game Gabriel Kidd. I did see highlights of this match online. If you haven't seen this, go check it out. It is awesome. And finally, Zack Sabre Jr. successfully defends his IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Ricochet. So, definitely a very eventful weekend of wrestling. We now finish it off with a full recap and review of WWE SmackDown, the first 3-hour SmackDown, which is insane. We then get a video recap of the challenge between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes made for the Rumble. They are having a ladder match, which sounds awesome. So then Cody Rhodes comes out. He grabs a microphone, says, "Usually I ask you guys what you want to talk about, but it's more than clear we all want to talk about the same thing. Timing is a funny thing. WWE is about to change everything in wrestling. We are on our first 3-hour SmackDown. Raw is moving to Netflix. But my excitement is tempered because I am not cleared to wrestle, all because of Kevin Owens. And it's clear management is concerned. I'm about to compete in a ladder match at the Royal Rumble. And this brings out someone kind of interesting. It's Drew McIntyre. He gets in the ring, grabs a microphone. Instead of immediately saying something, he goes in for a big hug on Cody, which Cody looks a little awkward. Now, if you don't know the history between these two, they were actually tag team champions for a time, when that meant absolutely nothing. But, I actually love that team. Anyway. So, Drew starts off saying, "Cody, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help you. You're not on my list, but you're about to screw up your life's work. We're the greatest generation in this company. We're the best wrestlers we've ever had, and you're the quarterback. And you're about to screw up." There's a guy in the back running around with a replica title pretending to be champ. You clearly need someone to watch your back. Cody Rhodes then brings the microphone up, says, "You want to help me?" Drew then says, "I always tell the truth." Cody then says, "You clearly love to tell the truth. I've watched you carry WWE through its darkest days. You've become a beast, but I don't believe you. I feel this tension going right now. Clearly things are going to evolve. You want to take your shot? Come and get it." Drew then says, "You're going to see the truth one day. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help you." And as Drew steps outside the ring, he's on the apron, turns back around, says, "One more thing. You need to watch your back." And as he says that, Kevin Owens slides in the ring, attacks Cody Rhodes from behind. Drew then bails off the apron, walks to the back, and we just see a big old brawl between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. Officials come out, they try to break it up. Brawl continues. Eventually, the officials get them to neutral corners. So, yeah, I'm gonna say this. I'm getting kind of bored of these pull apart brawls. Like, there needs to be some deviation from this new norm. Although I am still liking this Kevin Owens Cody Rhodes feud. It does need something. We then go to our first matchup of the evening. And yeah, it did take us this long, as it's Andrade versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, Nakamura does have an early advantage. Eventually, Andrade does pick it back up, hits a big old Meteora for a 2, follows it up with a moonsault for a 2 count, goes for the message, aka the Judas effect. Nakamura ducks it, goes for a suplex, that gets blocked. Eventually, Andrade hits a back elbow, only for a 2. Andrade going for a big superplex, that gets blocked. Andrade going shoulder first into Nakamura. Nakamura moves, hits the ring post. One Kinshasa later, and your winner is Shinsuke Nakamura. And as Nakamura is celebrating in the ring, out comes LA Knight. Nakamura tries for a belt shot. Knight ducks it, hits a big old clothesline, just starts beating on him really good. Looks for the BFT, but Nakamura blocks it and then bails out of the ring. LA Knight then gets a microphone. He says, "You tried to steal my title. Things are going crazy. But what goes around comes around, and I'm going to get back what's mine." So, definitely interesting situation. I would have liked to see some new challengers for Nakamura. Don't get me wrong, I like Knight as much as the next guy, but I want to see some new challengers. Then we get this awkward little exchange in the back. We see Apollo Crews, who, thank God he's on TV now. He's walking in the back and he runs into Pretty Deadly, who Crews is accusing of attacking the Street Profits a few weeks ago, in which DIY stepped in and stole the tag titles. Crews pretty much saying, "Look, we all know you did it. You did it on DIY." And then in comes Legado del Fantasma, who Pretty Deadly are accusing of attacking them. And they get in a little bit of an argument. Then Legado del Fantasma and Pretty Deadly get into a little fight. Officials break it up. Then Nick Aldis walks in, pretty much says, I need you two to stay so we can have a chat. Commercial. Comes back, we see Pretty Deadly talking to Aldis, pretty much saying, yes, it was Los Garza who did attack the Street Profits last week. DIY walks up, pretty much saying, you're obviously talking with Cruz instead of these two. We know what you're up to. You want the tag team title shot. You want a match. We got a title defense tonight, so it is very important to us that we leave as champions. So it does seem like we are getting Pretty Deadly DIY alliance, which could be interesting. We then get our next matchup of the evening, as it's Michin taking on Piper Niven, which I feel like we've seen this like 8 times already. Right off the bat, Piper Niven goes for a big kick that gets caught by Michin, who hits a big slam right into some strikes. Hits a couple ranas, one of them to the outside of the ring, in which Chelsea Green comes up to Michin, talking a little smack, but Michin runs Green off. Tries for another Hurricane Rana on the outside. That gets caught by Piper Niven, who hits a big old sidewalk slam. Couple of times Michin goes for Eat Defeat, but that gets blocked. Piper Niven goes for a big old cannonball, whiffs Michin with a cannonball of her own, hitting a Pele kick, only for a 2 count. At that point, Chelsea Green gets up on the apron, distracts Michin. Michin backs her off the apron. Piper Niven tries for a big crossbody, whiffs. Michin tries for Eat Defeat again, that gets blocked. Piper Niven with a Piper Driver, which is a great name for a finisher, only for 2. Piper going for a Vader Bomb, but that gets blocked by Michin, who eventually hits Eat Defeat for the victory. So, it looks like we're continuing this Michin Chelsea Green feud, which I guess I'm okay with. I don't know. I would like to see some new challengers for Chelsea Green as well. Then we see something very, very interesting, as we see a wild Paul Heyman walk into the arena. He goes past the metal detectors, in which I thought he had something. And he's beelining it to the ring. Then we get a weird Naomi hype video. Like, I don't know what that was supposed to be. Like, if you watch WWE, I think you'd know who Naomi is by now. But either way, it's whatever. It's time filler. But this next thing was not time filler. We have a Paul Heyman promo. No rest of the Bloodline, no Roman Reigns, just Paul Heyman, which is rare these days. So he says, tonight, before Monday, I want to set the record straight. And on Monday, we're going to find out who the tribal chief really is. And Roman and I trained Solo to be next in line. We prepared Solo for the future when Roman Reigns was ready to step down as head of the table. And after 10 years, after Roman got his revenge on Seth, Cody took advantage. That is where Solo stole the Ulafala. He didn't earn it. He got a ride out of us. And he knew we wouldn't acknowledge Solo. So he got this band of animals that don't belong here. He got these bandits that we wouldn't acknowledge Solo. So Monday, it's going to be no rules, except there must be a winner and there must be a loser. And the winner will reign as tribal chief. And the only chief we acknowledge is Roman Reigns. So that is a very interesting point of the story. We hear at WrestleMania, after Roman lost, Solo took the Ulafala. He didn't earn it. He took it. Which, fine thing for a heel to do, but this is going to be interesting. As this brings out the man himself, the self-proclaimed tribal chief, Solo Sikoa. Gets in the ring. Instead of grabbing a microphone of his own, he outstretches his hand. Paul Heyman puts the microphone in. Actually, before he even does that, Heyman says, I want you to know that I'm 10 seconds from pissing myself. Because the last time we shared a ring, you and your goons put me through a table at MSG. And if I blink at you wrong now, it'll happen again. So that's when Solo extends his hand. Heyman puts the microphone in it. Takes it. Says the usual, where the heck were they? They were in Phoenix. Acknowledge me, to a chorus of boos. Which, Solo's getting there. Solo's getting there. He says, wise man, it's time to acknowledge the truth. You obviously owe Punk a favor. Let me owe you a favor. I need someone to hold my Ulafala on Monday. I need someone trustworthy. Someone who would never disrespect the Ulafala. And if Roman beats me on Monday, you're going to put the Ulafala around his neck, and I will acknowledge him. But when I beat Roman, and I will, everyone knows it, you will put the Ulafala around my neck, and know this, I own the Ulafala, and you. You will be my wise man forever, and Roman Reigns will have no choice but to acknowledge me. Oh, wow. So that leads to Paul Heyman leaving the ring, and then Solo putting up the one. That was a great promo from Solo. He is getting so much better as like a threatening heel. And I'm going to say this right now. I think Solo should win on Monday. Now, I know everyone's like, Roman's got the win. He's the true tribal chief. I think a win for Solo could do so much more for him than if Roman Reigns just wins it back. Like, I feel like if you want to build Solo up into this credible threat that, maybe could take the WWE or world title away from the current champion, I think you gotta build him up. And what better way than beating Roman Reigns, the former chief? And, that's just my opinion. So then we go backstage to a Motor City Machine Guns kind of video promo saying, when someone for years, everything we've been through, but Johnny, you threw it away. You guys fought to the very top. but there will be wolves in sheep's clothing. It only took us 3 matches to win the titles. It's only going to take 1 to win them back. So kind of a hype video / promo, hyping up their match with DIY, which is next, as it's for the WWE Tag Team Champions, as DIY, that's Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, defend their tag team titles against the Motor City Machine Guns. And oh boy, this was a love letter to tag team wrestling. This was great. Really nice back and forth. Guns haven't missed a step, man. The Guns are going to be my forever favorite tag team. But man, DIY really brought it to them. However, we, as the Motor City Machine Guns, were ready to deliver Skull and Bones. Out comes Pretty Deadly to distract the Guns. DIY with a pop-up kick. Out comes Los Garzas, who pretty much just brawl with Pretty Deadly. Then Johnny Gargano locks in the Motor City Stretch. Sabin with an STO. But before anyone can tap, Pretty Deadly and Los Garza brawl on top of the match. So the match is thrown out. DIY technically retain. I wish there was a better way that match could have ended. But, you know, we got some more importance in the tag division, which I love. And heck, maybe at Saturday night's main event, we could have a fatal 4-way. That could be fun. So, little disappointing finish, but overall, really good match. We then see Nia Jax and Candice LeRae in the back, with Nia saying, I'm defending the title tonight, where the heck is Tiffy? Candice LeRae speaks up and says, she's not here, but you're going to beat Naomi tonight, and I'm next in line. Nia then says, just stay out of my way, and walks off. We then see Sami Zayn in the back. He's walking towards the camera, runs right into Carmelo Hayes, who said, I had you beat. If Strowman didn't interfere, I would have had you. You and Strowman can get this. And as Hayes is talking so much smack, you see the Usos roll up with Jimmy saying, we got a problem? No, Sammy says to Hayes, oh, do we have a problem? Hayes then says to him, you get this? Tell me more. Then Hayes turns around, sees the Usos, and then kind of runs off. So, Usos and Sammy kind of celebrate a little bit. Jay then says to Sammy, we got a big one tonight. Sammy then tells the Usos, alright, let me go get my gear. I'll be out there with you. The Usos, we see Sami Zayn then walk off the screen. Usos then walk pretty much literally right into Kevin Owens, who says to them, you need to watch your back. Exactly what Drew said to Cody at the top of the show. I'm saying, I think we're going to get an anti-Roman / anti-Cody alliance. It's going to be interesting. So then we see Cody. He's got all his gear all wrapped up, ready to go. Nick Aldis walks in, asks, hey, you okay? Cody says, yeah, I'm fine. I'll be good for the Rumble. Aldis then says to Cody, You talked me into this match. Put aside this hatred you have of Owens. If you don't do that, I will. Cody then says to Aldis, I appreciate you thinking about the company's future instead of mine. You have every right to sit me out for the Rumble, but I have the right to call my shot. When this story ends, another begins. If I see Owens anywhere, it's on sight. So, yeah, this is definitely a very interesting rivalry. Can't wait to see how it ends at the Rumble. Then we get the WWE Women's Title match as Naomi challenges Nia Jax. And oh my goodness, this was a crazy matchup. Pretty much full gear right up at the start, including a caught crossbody by Naomi right into a Uranagi for a 2 count. Naomi with a big old hip attack tries for a powerbomb that gets blocked by Naomi into a roll-up for a 2. Nia with a clothesline goes up for the Annihilator, but Naomi stops her. It's a double stomp from the corner, and that split leg drop, which is a great move, only for a 2. Naomi with a very impressive Samoan drop into a split-legged moonsault try, but that gets blocked. Nia then powers Naomi into the Tree of Woe position, hits a hip attack. Naomi falls. Nia with a leg drop, only for a 2. Nia again tries for an Annihilator, but that gets blocked again. Naomi with a tornado DDT, which that looked beautiful, only for a 2. Nia rolls out to the apron. Naomi with a couple of knees into a heat seeker, only for a 2 count. Naomi with a blockbuster for a 2. Nia then fights back, tries for a Samoan drop, gets blocked almost immediately into a roll-up for a 2 count. Naomi with like a weird camo clutch. I know that she had a name for this submission, but I forget what it is. Candice then gets up on the apron, distracts Naomi. Bianca Belair comes out, takes her out. And then Nia takes out Bianca ringside. Tries once again for the Annihilator. That gets blocked. Naomi tries for a body slam. That gets blocked. At that point, out comes Tiffany Stratton. She's got a ref behind her. She's got her briefcase. Looks like she is finally about to cash in. She hits the referee, distracting, I guess, the other ref. Candice then hits Naomi with the case. Nia with the Annihilator to pick up the win. And as all three are celebrating, Tiffany Stratton points to Bianca in the corner, who's checking on Naomi. Nia attacks Bianca. Tiffany with a case shot to Nia Jax. Bianca hits a KOD on Candice. Then Stratton tosses Bianca Belair to the outside of the ring. Then Tiffany looks at the case, looks at the referee, boom, cashes it in. And as soon as it was announced and the bell rings, she hits the prettiest moonsault ever to pick up the win and win the women's title. It's about dang time. It's about time, man. That was... Naomi Nia Jax match was absolutely awesome. It's about time Tiffany cashed in. It is about dang time. And it was all worth it. Next, we get a Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa hype video for Raw on Netflix, which I loved. I love WWE's video packages. They are so good. We then see the New Blood. They're making their entrance with Jacob Fatu screaming, "Solo, I love you. Although you also hear." The crowd kind of finishes sentence, which is hilarious. That is so good. Then we cut to the back. We have an LA Knight interview who's saying there's no time for thinking. Nakamura was going to pay either way. He saw fit to attack me from every which way, and he got my title. Well, monkey see, monkey too. And next week on SmackDown, I got my title match, and then I take my place as the main event of WrestleMania. So I guess that's his official entrance into the Royal Rumble, which is interesting. Then we have our main event as it's 6-man tag team match as the New Blood. That's Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga. No Tonga Loa because he's injured. Taking on the OG bloodline of Jimmy, Jey Uso, and Sammy Uso, the honorary Uso. So they're all in the ring. Jay's music keeps playing, which is weird. Kind of like how New Jack used to do that back in the day. It looked like everyone was getting set ready to go. But the New Blood stayed in the ring altogether. This brought out Jimmy and Jay. And they just start brawling to start the match. Which is absolutely nuts. OG Bloodline hold the ring for a bit. Then they go to commercial. We're back. We see Jimmy and Jacob start the match. With Jimmy kind of doing his thing. Tagging in Jay. They double team Jacob for a little bit. Tags in Tama Tonga. Who hits a couple of strikes and stomps. Before Sammy Uso gets tagged in. Hits a couple of axe handles, tags in Jimmy, gets a couple of big boots, but Tama Tonga fights back with a jawbreaker, tags in Solo, hits a bunch of strikes, couple of headbutts, big boot, gets Jimmy in a nerve hold, which that looks absolutely painful, but Jimmy fights out of it, tags in Sammy, trading blows, including some big old elbows, which that looked nuts. Eventually, Sammy knocks Solo down, goes for an elbow drop. He gets caught into a spinning Solo, aka a Uranagi. Solo with a Samoan drop, only for a 2. Tags back in Tama Tonga, who just hits a couple of strikes before he gets Jacob Fatu in, who hits a hip attack, eventually getting Sammy in a camel clutch. Solo tags in, hits a bunch of headbutts in him. And as Solo is lifting Sammy, he grabs Solo, hits a blue thunder bomb. Both men tag in Jay and Tama Tonga respectfully. They trade blows. Jay tries for a Samoan drop. That gets blocked. Tags in Jimmy. Hits a couple of kicks. Jesus. Tags back in Jay. Hits a shoulder tackle and a splash. Couple of elbow drops. Tama Tonga tries for a roll-up. That only gets a 2. Jay with an impressive neck breaker, but as he's going for the pin, Jacob Fatu takes out Jimmy. Solo and Sammy brawl. Tama Tonga with a big DDT, only for a 2 count. Tags in Jacob Fatu. It's a super kick. Jay hits a super kick on him. Then all three men are in the ring, each one of them hitting their own hip attack. Finishing with Jimmy, who hits a couple of strikes. Hits an Uso splash, only for a 2. Jacob hits a super kick. Hits a big splash. Hits a moonsault, only for a 2 count. Jimmy then tosses Jacob over the top rope. Gets Jay in, who trades strikes and super kicks, only for a 2 count. Then this brings out someone very interesting, a Drew McIntyre. Who Jay goes after Drew, whiffs on the big clothesline, but then Sammy with a big dive. Sammy gets back in, goes for the stomp, misses. Jacob with a Samoan drop, only for a 2. This brings in Solo, although Sammy doesn't see that he did. Jacob goes for a hip attack, misses. Jimmy with a super kick. No, Jay with a super kick, a spear, and an Uso splash. And as he's going for the pin, the ref's like, no, he's not legal. Solo then gets in the ring, lifts up Jay's neck. Samoan spiked right to it, and it's the 1, 2, 3. And your winners, the New Blood. So, yeah, that was a very interesting episode of SmackDown. Definitely some pacing issues, but overall, I was very entertained. Yeah, we'll see where this goes. Because tonight is the big night. We have our first Monday Night Raw on Netflix. That should be a fun one. Probably going to cover that on Friday, along with NWA Power and AEW Dynamite. Definitely a interesting road we're on as we head for the Royal Rumble. Can't wait for it. Hope you're strapped in for the ride. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.